Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and it is day 3 of Scraptember 2022. And today it is all about layers. So I am working this month on using up the rest of my Vicki Boutin color study. And so I am going to use this layout by the lovely Lisa Sikorsky from Scrap a Sketch. And I am going to do all the layers she's got on here. I've pulled all the papers out of my 6x8 and my project pad because I want to get it used up. I've combined it with my loose papers that I bought at Joann Fabrics and all that stash of scraps. I have a few packaging bits that I still love to use to back pictures or to use as layers. And then, like I said, I got lots of scraps, and I don't get rid of much when it comes to this collection because just a little piece, as you will see in this layout, can be very helpful for doing some of these layouts. I hate losing the papers. So I do have my the sticker sheet from the project pad, which doesn't have a lot, and I do have the specialty paper back there, but I won't be using that on this layout. Stay tuned for that. So I got all my papers and my the picture. I haven't shared my picture, so I'm gonna use all these papers to try and make all those layers and use up as many of these stickers as I can. And then also, here is the picture I'm documenting. It is me, my best friend, and my son. We played a game of spoons, and so I thought this was a good one to use color study since the spoons are different colors. And so there we go. And then I have the ephemera. Not all of this box is ephemera from the color study. Some's from Color Kaleidoscope, some is just odds and ends. So I've got all of these papers and scraps. I have my ephemera and my picture and this awesome sketch. So let's see how this goes. So these are the papers I've decided to use. And since they're double-sided, I know that I have other options as well, and I will pull in the back side of at least one of these. And so right now I'm trying to decide what's going to look best on this black. I love this text print. I have 2 sheets of this, and it is one of the hardest papers to use because I don't want to use it. Not because it's not easy to use, because it totally is, but it's so gorgeous. And that's really how I have felt about a lot of this collection. There's a handful of pages that I have a couple of, and it took me a long time to finally use because I just keep buying more of them. So they're pretty much hard to find anymore, at least in the stores. And typically that's how I buy my loose papers, is at Joann's, unless I buy it from Peacecraft Love. So I am now looking through my scraps. This is when scraps are good, to see what's going to work. And then I decide I'm going to start with the tearing. And I thought I'd start with that one and then decide I'd start on the bottom layer, which is this butterfly. And the butterfly on the back side is purple, which I love. And I will bring some of that in. And I just tear just the edges in kind of like this envelope type shape, except I'm not being specific. It's not straight at all, and I'm not gonna make sure that it fits because the sketch doesn't have that either. So I lay it next to it so that I know when I tear I'm gonna have like I said, not the same places of going up and down, but to where wherever I lay the blue and white stripe, I'm going to be able to see the butterfly behind it. And so I just kind of tear loosey-goosey. And the back of that blue and white stripe is like this odd teal with like a yellow circle. So I'm not worried about tearing that. And then the back of this one is got like a real pretty pattern on the back of like stripes. You've probably already seen it because I think I shot it out at least once. If not, you'll see it soon. I created a lot of videos, there it is, with these papers right in a row. And so I'm hoping that I don't forget what I've done. As you can tell, I am getting over being sick, or trying to. I have a sinus infection and it has taken me down So I sound much better today than I did on day 1 and day 2. I'll tell you that. I couldn't even breathe out of my nose for the last couple of days. So being able to breathe a little bit is a positive. And I took a 7-hour nap today. I know that doesn't sound like a nap, but it was in the middle of the day, and now I'm in bed ready to go back to sleep. So the meds are kicking in, and I'm hoping to wake up tomorrow, which is actually the day this will be airing, and feel like $1,000,000. So we'll see. But so I got all those tacked down to where you'd be able to see each layer completely from the top to the bottom. And now I am creating my picture mat. So I'm going to use this purple, which I love. Purple is one of my favorite colors. And I'm also going to use that other piece of purple and flip it, because the other side of that is the butterflies. And I am going to use those as one of my layers as well. So I flip that over and cut that down. I think it's 4¼ by 6¼ and then 4.5 by 6.5. So I wanted a little bit more of a border with the butterflies because, it's kind of pointless if you can't see them, what's there. So it's not a huge border, but you can see the detail and everything with that little border of, I guess it's about 1/8 of an inch. Maybe a little more than 1/8. So I was determined to use this, but the more I look at it, the more I don't like it. So I decided I am going to go with the blue and white. This is the branding strip. And then I've got this butterfly paper. It's also a branding strip. And then I try out this days of the week, but I don't like that. Plus, there's pink on there. And that is the best friend who doesn't do the pink. But I have this teal polka dot colored paper, and teal is her favorite color, so I knew that I'd be okay with that. And it's a little wider. It's just a strip that I had taken off of another layout. And so I'm going to put that down and right in the middle, and I love that color. It's my favorite color as well. Not the only reason we're best of friends, but it helps that we both like the same kinds of things like that. I don't necessarily have an aversion to pink like she does. I definitely use it in my scrapping, and there's plenty of pink in this collection. But as you can see, I have pretty much steered clear. Now, I can't guarantee the rest of the layout is pink free because I can't remember 100%, but I would assume that it's pretty close. I have broken that rule a couple of times, and she really is not the one who says anything about it, but So I'm going to fussy cut these butterflies, not individually, but I'm going to fussy cut around them to make a branding strip border to where the butterflies have that curve that there's like a scallopy bit on the sketch. And so I use the butterflies and I trim a couple of them off because it would have gone 12 by 12 from one end to the other, and I didn't want that. So I really love the way that looks. And so now I am just kind of determining where I want to put the picture. And I really do love this. I mean, these are colors. If I was picking just random papers myself that weren't from a collection, I don't think I'd have ever put these together, especially that green with all the other stuff. But green's my favorite color. And so any shade of green makes me happy usually. Yes, I know there's a Life is Good, and that's got pink on it. I'm not going to use that, but I am going to end up using this little, what are those things called? Well, you can see what it is. I can't remember what they're called. But I'm thinking about using a frame to put on either side. And I like that yellow, but I don't feel like it's going to stand out too much on the green paper because it's kind of like a green yellow. So I'm debating on using those other frames with the florals. And I bet you couldn't tell me why I selected the yellow one over that pinky red one. So I pull this yellow floral, I cut it in half, and then I just tuck in this bigger piece on the left side, and I'm going to leave it out to where there's this space, and I'll cover some of that space up, but not all of it. And then the side that goes on the right, I'm going to tuck in more. So really you're just kind of getting a little taste of that without any of the gap. And I love the way this turned out. I tucked this little leaf in here that came from the sticker sheet, and it helps fill in some of that space. And then I looked at a few different things for putting up here, but I really end up just going with Live in Full Color or Life in Full Color. I can't remember. It says one or the other. Because other than pink, my best friend definitely lives in full color. She is not ashamed or scared or shy of who she is, and I love how confident she is. She is my spirit. She is who I want to grow up to be. Except she's a little more stubborn than she should be. So I have this little label, and this came from the sticker sheet as well. I faff around with this for the longest time because I'm wanting to get it tucked up underneath the butterfly scallop to where it is a good and tucked under there. But because it's a sticker, it's sticking weird, right? So I finally get it under there, and I have a little label, and that's like a teal, and I want to put that there as well. So when I first put it down, it looked weird because there was a gap. So I pulled that label to put down first, and then put the label, the little tag down, and I thought that that looked better because it didn't have that big gap of weird empty space next to the little butterfly strip that's coming down. And I'm going to use those to put the date there. Couldn't tell you if I actually do that while we're on camera. But to add some ephemera, I'm going to use the teal and purple floral. And yes, I set aside the pink one. I'll find a layout that does not include her to put that on. And then I just take my Memory Keeper pen and make a little doodle with like a little curly Q on the corners. And that is the end of my layout. So here is the sketch again, one more time by Lisa. I love her sketches. I am on her creative team. And so this was one of the sketches that I got to create this week. And so the other person who created, I can't remember who it is because my brain is completely congested, but her sketch or her layout was phenomenal. So if you're not on Scrap a Sketch on Facebook, y'all should go check that out. Life in Full Color. That's what I was thinking. See that? I could have colored in that pink, you all, but it's on acetate. I wasn't going to do that. So, or vellum, not acetate. Anywho, so there it is. I love the way this turned out. It makes me absolutely happy. I hope you will come back again tomorrow for day 4. And later on today, you will also see another video from me for I'm Fully Booked, I think is what it's called. So have a great night and happy scrapping.